Do you find that you earn well, but you are unable to do some of the things that in your friendship groups, people who even earn less than you are able to do? Do you find that you earn well, but you're spending more than you're earning for your lifestyle that you lead? Do you think that you're living well above your means? What's your financial goal to change your current circumstances? Welcome back to Ira Living. On today's episode, we're going to look at 5 ways that you can implement in your life to help you to live below your means. What does it really mean to live below your means? Living below your means is where your lifestyle expenditures are significantly below your revenue or earning. With inflation and slow movement on our earning power, it's definitely getting more difficult to live within, yet alone below our means. Making the choice to live below your means is a sound financial decision. It's not being mean or penny pinching. It's consciously spending less than you earn, taking ownership of your life rather than your life owning you. It gives financial security and it reduces your overall stress load. We're going to be examining 5 strategies that you can implement to ensure that you continue to live below your means. Or if you haven't already started living below your means, you'll be able to implement these strategies to ensure that you do. Number 1, assess your situation. Which category are you currently in? Do you believe that you're currently living above, at, or below your means? In order to be able to make this decision, you first need to examine your income. So take a look at your gross income and your net income. Oftentimes people use their gross income as their benchmark to determine their actual employment worth. What you need to look at is actually your net income, because your gross income includes the taxes that you haven't yet paid and some of the other expenses that might be taken out of your wages from your employer's end. What you need to focus on is your net earning, because that's actually the money that you get to go home with. So use that as your benchmark when you are looking at your actual income or earning. The next thing you need to look at is your total outgoings. So what's your total expenditure when you have that income coming in? Now at this step, what you need to do is to evaluate your credit cards. You need to evaluate your hire purchase and your subscriptions. Also, assess any other debt categories that you have to give you a complete picture of your overall expenditure. What you now need to do is to go back and review the question that was asked. Which category are you in? Now you are in the category where you are living above your means when you take away your total expenditure from your income and you have a negative amount. You are living at, if when you take it away you're at 0 because you're breaking even. You're living below if when you subtract your expenditure from your income, you recognize that you have a surplus, you're in the positive. So this is how you do a simple task of ensuring whether or not you're living above, at, or below your means. Now that we have established this, we're going to look at some of the strategies that we can implement to therefore fix this issue that is of significant concern, so that you can be in a much better and more comfortable place where your finances are concerned. Number 2 is to track your spending. What you want to do here is to focus on getting the big expenses right. You want to examine housing, transportation, and food, because these take up the bulk of your budget. You are now going to have a look at making sure that you record what all of your different expenditures are by tracking your spending over a period of time. Now you could make this over a month or over 3 months. This will give you a clearer picture, because month by month certain things can change. So a 3-month tracking would be a good way for you to be able to be absolutely certain about some of those payments that you make that might fluctuate, or some of the purchases that are necessary that might fluctuate from one month to the next. This tracking can be something you do retrospectively, or it's something that you can decide that you're going to do going forwards. If you choose to do it retrospectively, then you just need to look at your bank transactions from your bank statements, and that will give you an idea of your spending and your income. It might be that you decide that you're going to be tracking that now for the next month or the next 3 months. And if so, then you just simply need to make sure that you keep accurate records of all the transactions that you make, including and especially the cash ones, because you want to make sure that you are able to account for those cash transactions when you are sitting down and looking at formulating a budget to help you with spending your money wisely. Compare your expenses with other providers or other places that you could actually shop. And in so doing, it helps you to get the best possible rates. Make those transitions where it's necessary, or cut out those things that you are absolutely certain that you're not using as much as you should or thought you would, or the things that you do not believe that you're getting best value for your money from. Once you've done that, then it is important that you then sit down and develop a budget. You need to develop a budget. It's important because it helps you to recognize what's coming in, for where you're directing your monies to, so that you are clear about where your money is going and therefore be in a better position to manage the money that you are earning for your best outcome. We have a video on budgeting that you can go and have a look at, just to give you some ideas as some of the things that you need to consider in your budget and how to build one up so that it will support you with your spending and on your journey towards living below your means. The next step is to simply reform your habits so that you're curbing your spending for the additional costs that you are incurring that aren't necessarily things that you should be considering using your money towards. Your budget will support you with that. However, your budget is a paper document that simply helps you to determine where you're going to direct your monies. The next step of it to make it work is by actually implementing those steps. So it requires you to be conscious and determined to actually implement the budget that you have set yourself. And step number 3 is to maximize the value of every pound that you spend. When you're maximizing every pound, what you're looking at is trying to get the best value for your money at every step in your journey. And one of the things that you want to be able to do in order to achieve this is to be conscious and intentional about your spending. You want to look at what resources that you have around you that you can use and monetize. So it might be that you want to be selling used items, or you want to declutter, etc. It might be that you want to go on different activities that you can use for leisure that is not going to cost you to replace those that would have. One of the things that you need to do here in order to make this work is to set yourself up guilt-free spending. You need to put that aside in your budget so that you're able to treat yourself to things throughout your annual cycle. And that simply means that you find one specific thing that you would want to do. So I would suggest that you make a list of 12 things that you would want to be able to experience throughout the year. It doesn't have to be grandiose in terms of cost. It just have to be things that are going to be meaningful to you. What you then need to do is to research and see the cost for those things and see how you can make that experience as economical as possible, and set a budget for in your monthly spend to ensure that you are able to afford those things. So therefore, you're treating yourself with things that's meaningful and rewarding. This way, you won't feel as though you're punishing yourself or you're not living in order to achieve your goal of living beneath your means. What it will do is it will ensure that you are at a point where you start to see how important it is, because you're able to fulfill these dreams and aspirations that you have that previously you were unable to achieve. The fourth thing that you need to do is to create an exit strategy. And it's an exit strategy out of your position that you are in currently, if you are not one of those people who is living below your means. What this requires is for you to plan out gradually getting out of this state through your spending modification. Explore how you can be more intentional with your spending and look for opportunities where you can cut back without cutting back on the quality of your experience and the quality of your purchase. You also need to look at how you can improve your money mindset and see this as a means to achieving a great financial position and working towards your financial freedom. Because when you have the room to maneuver, to do some of the things that you actually want to do, and recognize that it is within your control and within your grasp to be able to achieve them, it gives you that sense of confidence, and it motivates and encourages you to want to do even more. Strategy number 5 is to think more. Yes, think more. Think before making any and every financial decision. What's the why? Why are you doing it? What are you going to do? And how are you going to achieve it? These are key things that you need to ask yourself. It might also help to add on the when. When are you actually in a position to afford to do that? So that you're not putting yourself in position of compromise to go back into taking credit to do things that actually don't need to be done. Take advantage of all the free things that are available to you. Or at the very least, compare the market before you make a sound decision. It is important that you're spending your own money rather than the bank's money. It forces you to be more accountable. Additionally, it is important that you give yourself a cooling off period before making financial decisions, because then it gives you the opportunity to ensure that you have mental clarity about what it is you're going to do and the impact that it will have on your plans and on your future. Don't seek external validation and therefore buy material things in order to get it. What you need to focus on is your intrinsic value, improving yourself from within, and therefore giving yourself the validation that you need, because you know that you have been able to do the things that you have set yourself to accomplish, and you can see how it's going to be working out to make your life better. Consider ways in which you can increase your earnings, and do not at the same time seek to upscale your lifestyle. This will help you to ensure that you keep your debt to income ratio as low as you possibly can. To continue to live below your means is a conscious and intentional effort and decision, and therefore it's important that you're continually making that in every choice that you make. Remember, financial literacy is revolutionary. It's transformed my life, and I believe it can do the same to yours.